Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. And if they are, please like, subscribe, and share the content. Today we are going to be answering a viewer question. Okay, is there a way to save the logo letters combination as an object on Surface? Yes, there is. But I see what you're trying to get at. It would be, I mean, your idea is awesome. Put the logo and the letters combination, save them in your solids object on surface library, right? And then just kind of place it on the ring and adjust it, right? But that's really probably not the best way to do it, and I'll show you why. And I'll show you several different things here. There's going to be a lot in this video. I hope you're able to follow along. I myself kind of get unable to understand, but there's going to be a lot here. So let's first go in and just get the object to save in our object on surface library, right? So let's just say that this is my logo right here. Of course it's not, but we'll just say it is for the sake of this video. The first thing you need to remember is anything that you have in that you're going to be saving will transpose over into your library. So if you have hidden objects, they will go with it. If you have object layers turned off, they will go with it. So you want to make sure you only have your item out there. This is way too big for our purposes today, so we're going to go ahead and scale this down a little bit. 3D, we'll just go to F4 since it's right there in our center, and we will make it nice and small. And we'll just go ahead and drag it out of the way, right? And then we'll go to our solids, and we will go, well, our tools, sorry, and we'll just do lettering, text objects, right? First thing we want to do is maybe make that all capital. MatrixGold. And we'll go ahead and do our font size just a little bit bigger for this demonstration, and we will change it to bold and do a little bit letter spacing so that we have nice spacing in between each letter so it will show up. So there we go. There's our item, and we'll hit enter, accept that, and we'll bring this one back down into place somewhere like, oh, okay, so I don't have it grouped together. And there is one out here I want to get rid of. See, I had two of those objects, so it's going to save both those, and I don't want to. So I'm going to take that, group it together, and then now we'll bring this down into a place. Say something like that. Okay, so that's going to be my logo, and this will be the company name, right? Of course, my company is not MatrixGold. Wish it was. I'd be a millionaire. But we'll say this will be it, right? And now all we have to do is go to our big M here, save as, and we will go scroll down to our documents. We will go from documents to MatrixGold, MatrixGold to a library, and our object library. And we will click our object on curve library, because everything in your object on curve library will transpose over to your objects on surface library. So you have all those objects on curve in your library on objects on surface library. And I'll just type in logo 3. Before I do that, though, I want to go back real quick. I'll go to my front view, and as you can see, I have my depth of my lettering higher than this, right? So I'm going to hold down Shift and Control, and I'm just going to select that lettering. Well, I guess I didn't have to. It's not all grouped together yet. And just bump it up so it's pretty close to my object there. I'm not going to make this perfect. I'm just demonstration, right? And then we'll go ahead and give it some shading, and we'll select all that, and we will go back and save it, right? Save as, again, documents, MatrixGold, library, object on curve library, and we'll change it to logo 3, and I already have one in there, so I'm just going to overwrite it. So we have it out there, right? Now we can just go ahead and get rid of it. All right, so now it's saved in our library, so anytime we want to add it to our surface, right? So we'll go to a ring rail, and I'm going to show two different things here. One with a comfort fit, which will be this one here. We have a comfort fit in there going this, so we have curvature in this direction, and we have curvature in this direction, right? And I'll just drag this off to the side here real quick. And then we'll do one more. Oh, wrong one. Let's back out of that. Go to my rail, hit enter, select my rail because we have several lines out there at this point, and go to my profile placer, and this time we'll change it to just a flat shank, inside flat shank, and we'll go ahead and select that one and hit enter, and we'll just activate an auto sweep for this demonstration and hit enter, right? So they're both size 7 and they're both auto swept, right? I'm going to go ahead and take those yellow curves just so they don't get in the way later and hide them. Okay, so the object on curve, right? So let's check that out. Let's go to our solids, or object on surface rather, and we'll select our object on surface. So it says select our surface. We'll select our surface. The ball is our default. We'll just kind of drag that ball right onto our ring rail or pretty close to it, and then we will go to our library here, and we will add our logo 3. And hit accept, and we'll just go ahead and put our object. Well, we don't want it there. Let's delete that one. Delete. Well, let's just go ahead and accept it. Oh, there we go. It deleted it. Okay. And of course, we want to make it larger, right? And I'll make it, well, we'll just keep it a size 7. It doesn't matter because this one will probably not work. And the reason being is because when you do an object on surface, we'll go ahead and hit enter. It's going to lay it out straight, right? It's going to lay it out straight onto our surface, and even if you pick something else, let's say, let's go back to perspective here, and we'll give it some shading. Even if you pick a different item, right? Select our surface. Ball's no problem because it's a circular item, right? So balls you don't really have to worry about, anything that's rounded for the most part. And we'll go ahead and select this, and we'll just take this one here, and we'll accept that. And now if we drag that larger, and we go to our frontal, and we turn it to wire, you can see it's still laying it out on there, right? So maybe not the best way to, I'm putting all kinds of on there. Let's go ahead and just hit enter on that, and I'm just going to delete those. It's going to lay it out straight, right? So let's go back. Let's do that object on surface one more time here real quick. Select our surface. See, it's just going to lay it out straight, which is not going to, you know, it's a great idea if we could get that curvature going on with it, right? But it's not going to do that for us. So not probably the best option, right? But let's try object on surface, or object on curve. So let's go and select our curve, and we'll hit enter. And of course, we don't want that many items, logos and names out there, right? Unless you do. So we'll just drag it down to where it's 1. We'll go to our target object, this one here. We'll go to origin. Where's our origin? Oh, we don't need origin on this one, sorry, different one. And we'll select this one, and we will go to our logo again, and hit logo, select, and this one will only let you go to 5. I'm going to oversize this and so we can see what's going on here. So start position type, start size, it'll go up to 5, but let's make it bigger for the purpose of the video here. And again, if you go to your front, you can see it's going to lay it out straight. And again, that's all items. So if I take this curve, go to objects on curve, go, well, let's close that out real quick. First target object here. Now we'll go to our library, and we'll just pick this thing. It's got nice straightness to it on the bottom there, right? And we'll make this bigger. You can see it's placing it out there straight across. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing this type of work, that it's going to place object on surface and object on curve is going to place the item out. It's not going to give you that curvature, right? And then so you have to be careful because, you know, you want to maybe place it so that those items are, you know, there, and then you have a nice gap there. So that's probably not the best way to do some things either. So let's go ahead and get out of that, right? Now we'll go to the tool that's actually made for this, and we'll do it with this flat one first because it's really good for this flat one. So we'll go to Tools, we'll go to Text on Curve, select our curve, and it'll place our matrix gold out there. And again, I'm going to, we don't want to do that, so I'll back out of that. We'll flip it, not that one, this one. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then font size, we'll just make it bigger. Not that big. Sorry, font size, where's that at? Let's drag that down. I just want to be able to show this off a little bit. There we go. And then we'll change it to all caps. And then hit enter. So we have all caps in there. We'll go ahead and change it to bold so we have a little bit better thickness. And then our spacing, we want to change that as well. So spacing, where's our spacing? I know I passed it up, letter spacing. And we'll bump that out so that those letters have enough when it cast that there's a nice distance between there, right? So this is overkill, of course, but this will kind of show you what's going on. So let's go to our front view. And this is flat, so really no big deal, right? So if you look at our perspective view in our, let's see, wireframe, sorry, we're going to get a flat edge. With the flat shank, it's really no big deal. But if we were to do it over here, it would pose a little bit of other options. But we'll get over here in a second. So right now we have this out, right? And then from this one, it's no big deal because what you can do is if you go to the front, put it to wireframe, you can adjust your depth to wherever you're wanting the depth of how deep you want it in there, right? And then just hit enter, right? And then you can do your Boolean. So we'll go to solids, Boolean, this, enter, and your cutout is all nice and even because this is a flat shank, right? And we'll go ahead and hit enter on that. There we go. All right, so, so you have depth. To go to our front, everything is nice depth this way, and if we go to the perspective, it's not really a big deal because you have a nice straight cutout going across here, right? Because we have a flat shank, right? So let's go ahead and just get rid of this, and we'll hide this one real quick, and we'll center this up. This is the one we're going to focus on. Let's back out of that here for some reason. I got an outside shank on there. Let's get rid of that outside shank. Okay, and then we'll center it up here. There we go. And we broke his, no big deal. All right, so on this particular one though, since we have curvature going this direction and we have curvature going this direction, right? If we select our ring rail, and we go to Tools, Text on Ring Rail. And I'll oversize this so we can, well, not, not that big, but I want to be able to show it. So we'll go ahead and change that to caps. Matrix Gold. And we will bold it. And we'll do a little bit of letter spacing on it as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit enter. And, you know, we can go back and edit it, which that's a great part about doing it this way. We'll go ahead and flip horizontal, and it lays it out there for us, right? And it did not change it to my... There we go. All caps. Let's make that a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. So say, of course, this is oversized, but it'll show you what I mean, right? So right now, we have curvature going this direction, right? But we do not have curvature. It's straight across here, right? As you can tell, it's straight across. So we're going to get a deeper cut in the center and not so deep on the ends of it, right? Which, you know, there's a fix. We don't have our logo out there. And if you have a logo that has a flat bottom or a flatness to it, you can do the same thing with it. But my logo, or this thing here, is rounded, right? So it would be a major difference to do it. So you know, this is just another way of doing it, right? And I'm going to show one more way after this that I think is perfect. So what we have here is, first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and complete this command. Now we want to a boolean. First thing we want to boolean though is our lettering, and then hit enter, and then pick our ring and enter, right? And then enter again, right? So yeah, okay. Now our lettering's out there. If we go to front, it's right on our surface. It has curvature this way. And if you look at perspective and we change to wireframe, we actually now have curvature going this way. So everything will cut at the same depth, right? And now all you have to do is just kind of bump it into wherever you're wanting it, and then do your Boolean. This will be our first surface, enter. This will be our second surface, enter, and then we'll just hide this. And now we have the lettering, this surface, hide, all out there, and it is lettering that is curvature this direction and curvature this direction. So it's laid out really nicely, right? So that's another option that you can use to get the lettering out there. But it's for the logo, if it's something like this, maybe it's not the best way to do it. So let's go back here real quick. Get it so that it's uncut. We'll select that and delete it. All right, so we back to our normal item here, no cutouts in it or anything. There's also another way we can do it, right? If we go in here and select this curve, or ring rail, right? If I can grab it. There we go. And we type in length. Whoop. Yeah, length. It'll give us our length of that line flat. So it's 54.4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight that number. I'm going to right click on it, go to copy, right? And then go to my top viewport and just go to a curve, grab a curve. And I am going to change it to yellow, of course. I'm going to click over here, and before I click my next spot, my first one's there. I'm going to go down here to my command line, right click, type in paste, which locks me into that same number as my ring rail, and then I have that out there, right? Now what I can do is I can select that ring rail. I can go to solids, I think it is, yeah, objects on curve. I can adjust down to 1, or this one you need the origin, origin down, and go to our library, pick out our logo 3, the one we've been using, and I can bump it up. It'll only bump it up to 5. Like I said, I'm going to overdo this so that we can see the effects, and I'll put 14 in there and then hit enter. So there's our logo out there, right, with our item this time, right? And then I'll just go ahead and hit enter. Okay, so we have our logo out there, and we have our line and our name, right? So now we can go to transform and go scroll down here to flow along curve, and it says select objects to flow. That'll be our logo and our name, and then it's to select object to flow, hit enter, and we'll select our base curve, and then we will select our target curve right there, and it throws it up there. All right, but let's take a look at it. If your logo is just flat like these are, it's no big deal. You can do a cutout like we did in the text on curve, right? But if it's rounded like this, maybe it's not the best way to do it, because we have curvature this way, but if you go to your perspective viewport and look at it, and we'll turn on the wireframe here, we do not have curvature this way. But if you do the boolean different, the boolean, you'll have curvature this way. But for a logo that's not flat, it's going to cut it out a little, maybe unusual. You're going to have more depth in the center, and if depending on your logo, some of it may not show up out on the edges, or there could be some issues because it doesn't have curvature in this direction, and I want those little roundness on my item. I don't want them just flat in there, right? So maybe not the best way, but you could ungroup it, do this part, and then put your logo up there in a different way. But if it's flat, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's say this is not what we want, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. Now the last way, which I think if you really want to do it to perfection, let's go ahead and take this and we'll just hide it. It takes a little bit of extra time, but really I think if you're wanting it everything, you're going to get curvature in your logo and in your writing, this direction and in this direction. This is probably the best way to do it. And also, whenever you're doing other design work, keep this in mind as well, because if you're doing the object on curve or the object on surface, it's going to lay it out there, those items out straight, right? So keep that in mind. You could go to your transform and use splop or whatever that is, and put that, but that is very difficult to get lined up exactly right. So here's the way, in order to get it laid out all nice, cut evenly, logo with roundness and everything. It's just really easy, but it does take a little time. So let's go ahead and let's extract an ISO curve from our item here. And I'm just going to place it somewhere over here, and then hit enter. I'm going to select that curve and go to transform, parametric mirror. I'm going to turn on my X and turn off my Y, so it places it over on the opposite side, right? Hit enter, right? And now I'm going to take my item. I am going to split it with my yellow curves and then hit enter, right? And something happened here. Surface group. I don't know what happened there. I have two items out there. Must have done something wrong. Let's go ahead and do that again. So select that, go to split, pick yellow, hit enter. And now we have these two surfaces, right? Our cutouts. Now, if I type in what, oh, okay. No, not tab. WHAT. Right. You can tell that this surface, it's a NURB surface, which is what we want, but it's a trimmed NURB surface, so that's not going to work for us, right? You don't have to go back and redraw that surface. What we need to do is go to our surface menu, go all the way down here to the end, edit tools, and we are going to shrink trim surface, right? And we'll select that one, hit enter, and right click, bring it back, select this one and hit enter, right? Now when I click on that and type in what, I get just a NURB surface. So that offers a lot more possibilities for us. So we'll just go back to that edit tools. We'll go merge this NURB surface with this NURB surface. So now I have one NURB surface. So it's a NURB surface. Okay. If I didn't, let's go back real quick. Do that back to okay, so we have this, right? And it is a trimmed. I just want to show this because I think it's kind of important. This is a trimmed surface, right? If I take that surface and I go to my transform and try to create an auto base, it's going to give me the entire thing, right? And that's not what we want. So let's go forward again. Nothing to redo. Okay, so I'm back to my go to surface, go to shrink trim surface, this one, hit enter, right click this one, enter, and now they should be just NURB surfaces, which they are. So now we can go to back to those edit tools and go to merge to NURB surfaces, and now if I click in what, we have a NURB surface. So when I go to my transform and go to my auto base and select this surface, I get a surface just with that cutout, right? And that's what I want. So I'll hit enter, I'll click there, I'll go to this, center it up, and then we'll just drag it out, and I will change that to a little bit friendlier color. And now I'll go to my curves, go to my line curve, right? And we'll mid to mid. And now I can go in here, select that curve. Since my item is saved to my library, well, solid, sorry, object on curve, and we don't want all those, we only want one. So we'll put it right there. And we will origin down, target, no, not target object. Okay, I did that wrong, so I'm going to go back. I shouldn't have hit target object just yet. So there. Get that down to 1. I have been, let's see. Yeah, okay. Origin down. Object logo 3. And we'll put that out there. Okay, and then again, it's only going to give us up to 5 millimeters, but you can go over here. I'm going to make it extra large just so we can see everything, and it's all laid out there, right? All right, so, excuse me. I'll go ahead and hit enter at this point. And now all we have to do is go to our transform, go to smart flow, select our base surface, select our destination surface, and go to objects to flow, which will be these, and we'll hit enter. All right, and it places them over on this side. We'll just go ahead and hit enter, and let's take a look at that. Okay, let's drag this all, since it's all grouped together, and we'll drag it over here to this side, and it's not doing it. Sometimes it updates, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. Particularly this one's not, so I'll just go ahead and get rid of this and do that smart flow one more time. Select our base surface, select our destination surface, select our objects here, enter, and it places it over on that side, right? Except it's not in the direction I want it in, so I'll go ahead and hit enter, and then I'll take this and we will flip that 180 and that one update. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why, but okay, so now let's take a look at this. Let's go to our front. And of course, we have curvature this direction. And if I go to my perspective and turn it on wireframe, we have, let's see if I can get a good view here. Oh, there we go. We have curvature this direction, and not only on our letterings, but also our logo is also curved. If I can get it set up here. Yeah. All right. So if you look at the logo here, if I can get it, we have curvature on our logo as well. And everything's all centered up. So everything is going to cut evenly throughout the entire item, right? So at this point, the only thing you have to do is to select your surface there, and go ahead and join together. Make sure you have a closed poly surface. Go to your solids. Go to Boolean difference. This will be our what's getting cut, and this will be our cutter. And enter, and enter, and we just get rid of our non-cut surface and hide it. And there you go. Everything. I'll get rid of yellow here. Yellow, gray, and I'll turn my ring roll off. So now everything has a cutout in both directions. So it has a cutout with the curve going here in our lettering and in our object, and it has same depth of everything going around. So everything is all nice and neat and tidy, right? And we'll just hide this here. Last thing I should probably show is the rendering type. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we are going to explode everything, and we're going to go and select all that lettering, and we'll change that to a different layer. Now, of course, when doing so, you're going to be grabbing some of these options here. So you want to go back through there and change those smaller pieces, perhaps, to select those pieces and change them back to your green layer. Yeah, and one more right here. I don't need you. Right there. Change that back to green. And we'll just take all green and join it together. Now remember, it's not, this green here has nothing to join to, and this green here has nothing to join to. So when you do your render, you still want to pick the color, not just the item, right? So we'll go to our render. We'll go ahead and activate Matrix Classic, and then we'll go ahead and select our green so we know it's grabbing those little small pieces in there, and we will go to white gold and select that, and we will grab our cutouts, right? And we'll just go to this matte black here and apply that. And we will go to ray traced, and I will grab my Rhino options, go to my star here, turn on my DeVita just to speed it up. And there you can see we have a nice cutout, and it's going in our comfort fit direction, and it's going in our ring direction. Everything's the same depth, and no worries, right? So hopefully that explains a little bit on maybe why. I guess it really depends. If you have all straight edges, your logo's not something that has a lot of maybe roundness, or you don't mind it being flat, you could do it with the text on curve or the flow command, right? But the surface would probably not work. All right, so hopefully that helps. If it does, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video. And thank you for watching. Much appreciation. Good designing.